Your star, darling.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Beer and Back again. Today I'm being joined by my good friend Jose and former co-worker. He's never been to the Sunshine Coast before, so today he's tagging along. We're gonna go visit a distillery in the area.
It's gonna be a ton of fun, I can't wait.
And we're off! Now, let's just get this out of the way early. Despite having to take a ferry across a body of water, the Sunshine Coast is not an island. So don't let the locals hear you saying that. What you will find here is, you guessed it, beautiful coastlines, scenic wonders, and many different breweries and businesses, but that's for another time. Today, we're here for a specific reason. So, without further ado, let the fun begin. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, have to start with a cheers.
Yeah, sorry, the cheers, yeah.
Yeah, once again, we're on the Sunshine Coast, and we're going to a distillery later.
Yeah.
So, what do we actually know between the two of us know about distilling? that's a real question.
Yeah,
Before we go in and have them explain to us, what do we know? So we're going to Bruinwood Distillery, and they have a wide selection of like gins and other flavored spirits.
Right.
So off my own knowledge of that is that obviously whenever you're making a distilled spirit, you start with neutral or a vodka. It's flavorless, it's usually typically smooth, you haven't put any of your heads or tails in. But so like with gin, typically gin you put in juniper berries.
Yeah.
What else would you put in these spirits?
Well, my knowledge of distilling is very much in line with yours, so we both learned it at the same place, which that brewery did also have a still that we were told to operate. What distillation is the process of heating up a substance to evaporate certain things out of it, to put it very simply. What we're doing with spirits is we're trying to evaporate the alcohol out of it and leave the water and everything else behind for the most part. The way that works is water and alcohol have different boiling point, different evaporation points. Alcohol evaporates at around 78 degrees Celsius. And so if we keep it, around 78 degrees Celsius and a little above, then the alcohol is going to evaporate out of that solution and everything we don't want is going to stay behind. Once it evaporates, then we have a process of condensation. So there's a few different ways of doing it, but the long story short is this vapor is going to hit the walls of a still, a copper still or a condenser coil, and it's going to cool off, turn back into a liquid form, and drip out. And then that's what we collect to produce the spirit.
Wowee! Looks like we have some things to learn about distillation and gin. Let's meet the masters, shall we? So I just want to start us off with thanking you guys to inviting us out here again. And just to introduce you guys, you're Denise and Jeff.
Thank you.
And where are we at today?
Well, we're at Bruinwood Distillery here in Roberts Creek on the beautiful Sunshine Coast.
Awesome. And Bruinwood, you say. Is there a history behind choosing that name?
Yeah, Bruinwood was actually chosen as a name many years ago. When we first moved onto the property, it was entirely forest, and we were on a bear highway. There were just bears everywhere, so we called the property Bruin, as in bear wood.
That's awesome. There's no bears around here anymore though,
Oh
right?
yes.
There are, as a matter of fact.
What makes gin?
That's the $64,000 question. Gin is just souped up vodka. And I always love when people come in and say, I don't really like vodka. It's like, well, I guess you don't like gin then. But essentially all gin is vodka that has been indoctrinated with botanicals, juniper primarily, coriander, and orris root being the cornerstone of all gins. Every single gin out there has those three basic botanicals. And then it's up to the distiller to kind of throw in whatever else they want for the rest of it.
Can you tell us a little bit about how and when you add the botanicals? Does it gonna depend on what you're doing?
Yes. All of our gins I make off the top of my head. So when it comes time to make our house gin or whatever, I have a general recipe in my mind, but I generally will stick to it unless I've heard some kind of feedback, then I might adjust things willy-nilly. I will throw those botanicals into my neutral alcohol or the vodka, the aforementioned vodka, and let them steep for 2 or 3 days, sometimes a week. It really kind of depends. Then I'll simply redistill that, and then that redistillation process is what locks in all of those botanical flavors and creates the actual gin. gin. All right, so here we are, gentlemen, in the distillery itself. And so the way our process works is we start out every morning, we load up our mash tun with wheat, cracked wheat that we get from the northern part of the province, and about 300 liters of water, and we'll let that cook for about 3 hours. And then at the stage that I just finished now, we'll add our malted barley, which is what this is here. And in essence, what we're making here is like a Hefeweizen style beer. The only difference is that I'm taking all those complex sugars and I'm really knocking them down into simple sugars that will easily ferment. Whereas a beer maker will want to maintain some of those more complex sugars to allow for a mouthfeel and a flavorful beer that people actually want to drink. Every 4 days I'm filling and then draining these tanks. The tank will go into our stripping still. To the left is our vodka still for producing our triple distilled vodka. And then to the right, of course, is our mash tun. And in the far corner there is our tiny little vodka still, which we actually are using right now to produce vodka. And you can just stick your finger underneath there and give it a taste. You will taste it very
vodka.
Beautiful, creamy.
Very nice, yeah.
Delicious.
Very, very nice.
And this is only double distilled. The way we do it is we do a stripping run, a spirit run, and then what we call our vodka run. So yeah, from the stripping still, it goes to the vodka still. From the vodka still, it turns into either vodka or gin. And to make our gin, this is a machine we use here. We have our botanicals, and they are,
Oh wow,
in this case, we've got some lavender there, a little bit of spruce, some, of course, the juniper berries, a little bit of coriander in there. So this has been steeping now for about 4 or 5 days.
Smells amazing.
Yeah,
It smells very good.
You can actually taste it.
Yeah.
So this is our new botanical gin that we're just producing for our botanical gin.
On that note, it's time to get into the spirit of drinking and, well, drink some spirits.
So this is our house vodka. We call it aqua sen because aqua in sen means water and gas.
Okay.
So that's sort of our own name for that.
Oh, lovely. All right, cheers. Cheers. Very clean smelling.
Yeah.
Very, very clean smelling.
So this is triple distilled and it's made with wheat and malted barley.
Oh, that's delicious.
Yeah, once again,
Very
very
smooth.
smooth. Yeah.
Very smooth. Yeah, it's got a little bit of body to it, which is really nice. Yeah, it's not you know, a lot of vodkas, they can be really clean, but they come out really watery.
Right.
You miss a lot of the deeper flavors that vodka actually does have.
Yeah.
And it's all there in this one.
Yeah.
This is delicious.
So that becomes a starting point for everything else. So to add vanilla to it, that's the flavors that you're building on.
Absolutely, I can absolutely see how the vanilla one would build on that very
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very tasty.
I think a big portion of that is that you guys use a lot of wheat in your wash, whereas we've seen other distillers, it's been 100% barley.
Okay.
And so I think that there's definitely a flavor and a smoothness because especially in beer, you would often use wheat for like that smooth and bodiness, right?
Right.
So I think that really comes through here.
So another one that is sort of a fan favorite is the Earl Grey gin. And, you know, the gins can be so much fun because once you've got the juniper in it, every distiller can go any direction they want.
With the actual Earl Grey itself, we saw the botanicals being infused.
Yes.
Very similar way,
Yes.
just with the tea?
Yeah.
And how long is the tea on it for?
Not that long, actually.
An hour?
An hour?
Yeah. It's
Okay,
pretty
that's really quick.
Okay, so give that a try.
Ooh, the aroma.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right off the top, it
Yeah.
smells so good.
So I definitely get the juniper from the gin off the aroma. I get a little bit of the kind of like, there's a floral note. I don't know if
The bergamot.
Yeah,
The bergamot.
yeah.
The bergamot in a little spice almost. Very Earl Grey. Well, that's delicious. I'm probably gonna say that about everything.
I was gonna say, it's like, oh, that's delicious.
Yeah.
I think no matter what, we have to try the aquavit, and
Okay.
I
Yeah.
say that because my grandparents and my family heritage, we come from Danish and Hungarian background, and my grandparents were absolutely huge aquavit drinkers, and that got imparted into my father and down into me. And when I came and tried your guys' wares a few weeks ago, I tried the aquavit. I found it incredible. And of course, the main test in my family was to bring it home and for them to take it to my grandparents and bring it against the traditional Aalborg.
Right.
And they very high praise.
Oh, thank you.
What they said was that this was the first like craft-made aquavit that they put on par, if not better, to Aalborg.
Oh, wow.
So that blew me away. So I think that's incredible.
Thank you for sharing that. What a great story.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's try it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the smell of aquavit. It's such a unique smell.
So this is made with caraway seed, dill seed, and fennel seed.
Oh, that's lovely.
See, and that's smooth, and it really comes through. You really get the fennel at the end of that, and it's not sharp. It's a smooth transition and drops off. It's just it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you guys again so much for having us here. We had an absolute blast. We're gonna have to take a bunch of these home to share with our friends in Vancouver.
Absolutely.
We want to thank you by bringing some of the spirits that we have in Vancouver. So some of our two favorites are from Woods and Sons of Vancouver.
Lovely.
So I just wanted to give you guys
thank
these
you.
as
Oh,
part of
thank you.
thank you for having us over.
And thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank
it's
you guys
been a
so
real
much.
pleasure,
Yeah.
for sure.
Thank you.
So much, and thank you for teaching us everything that you guys know. It's amazing. Appreciate it.
Thanks again to Jeff and Denise, and we'll see you guys next time. Cheers!